Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Hello, hi and welcome back to my channel. If you are new to the family, welcome. And if you've already subscribed, thank you for coming back. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future video, comment section. If you have any compliments, comment section. Comment down below. Also follow me on Instagram. I am ㅅTeach, and on Twitter I am ㅅTeach. That way you will get to see my life here in South Korea in more details. So before you get to be a teacher in South Korea, you go through a whole process of applying and interview and all of that. So today I will be going through some of the questions that you will most likely be asked for your interview. So let's jump right into it. I'm gonna be looking down here time and time again, referring to my notes. So in case I'm looking down a lot, don't be wondering what is she looking at. It's just my notes, okay? So let's do this. First question, what does TALK stand for? TALK stands for Teach and Learn in Korea. Number 2, what is the TALK program? My answer was, it's a scholarship where native English speakers teach English in rural areas in Korea, and they also get to learn about the country and the culture. My answer was along those lines. Okay. Number 3, what made you choose to teach in Korea over other countries? My answer was that I chose Korea because I have a friend that I went to primary school with, high school with, who was teaching in Korea. It looked interesting for me, so I chose Korea. And follow-up question, what made you choose TALK over other programs? My friend was teaching in Korea through the TALK program, so I knew that it was legit, it was safe, it was trustworthy, and that's why I chose TALK. Question number 4, have you ever lived alone? My answer was yes. I lived not exactly alone, but I had roommates. I did have an apartment where I lived with my roommates, but it was away from home, okay? And then, have you ever lived abroad? I have lived abroad for 2 years in America as an au pair. Number 5, what do you know about the Korean culture? Guys, do your research. Do as much research as you can about Korea. The weather, the culture, the food, the dress code, and everything you can possibly find it. My answer about what I know about the Korean culture was that I know in terms of the dress code that in Korea it is frowned upon to show your chest area, like your cleavage and just your chest area. It's not something that they do, but I know that it's not the worst thing to wear like short shorts. So I also talked about how I know it's like the whole hierarchy thing here in Korea, where older citizens are very respected and things like that. And I also said that I know when you give something, you use both hands it's a sign of respect. So you give with both hands and you take with both hands, or you can put your hand like this, or men can put it under their hand by their breast, one hand there, and like take or give or whatever. So those were some of the things I said. Number 6, how did you find out about Korea? The first time I heard about Korea ever was in 2002 when Korea was hosting Soccer World Cup along with Japan, because on TV all the advertisements were like, "We going to Korea!" So that's when I knew about Korea. And the question also says, how did you know about TALK? I knew about TALK from my friend, my high school friend, who was already in Korea and teaching through the TALK program. Your answer could also be something like, I learned about TALK from a YouTuber, me. Okay, number 7. Have you ever had Korean food? Personally, before I moved to Korea, I had never ever had any Korean food. While doing my research, I learned about kimchi and other foods from Korea, but I had never had them. And I didn't lie. I did say, nope, I've never had Korean food. And they asked me, what would you do if you don't like them? And I told them that I'm very open-minded. And I also told them that I'm sure I won't hate every Korean food that there is. There will be some things that I like, and I also know that Koreans eat a lot of rice, which is something I do. I like rice. I eat a lot of rice, and yeah, I'll make meals. Pretty much my answer was around those lines. What do you think about Korean food? I just told them that I was curious about the food. Do you have any teaching experience? That's number 9. I had teaching experience from church because I taught Sunday school / a program we call Awana in my church, which is also like a children's ministry. That's the only teaching experience that I had, and that's what I talked about. Okay. Next question, number 10. What do you know about rural Korea? I didn't know much about rural Korea. I told them that I would guess it's not too different from rural South Africa. Obviously, it's a different country, it's a different culture, so there will be some differences, but I don't think I will be shocked to be in rural Korea because I have been in rural South Africa. Number 11, what do you plan to do in your free time? In my free time, I don't really remember my answer, but if I was asked this question right now, I would say in my free time, I plan to learn Korean, which I am trying to learn some Korean, and then I plan to travel around Korea, see other cities, other provinces here in Korea. So my answer was around those lines. Number 12, how do you deal with stress? I don't remember my answer very much, but I do know that how I deal with stress is through music. Music calms me down. Depending on what I'm going through, certain types of music calm me down. And also reading the Bible, my religion calms me down. Something along those lines. Number 13. Okay, I'm gonna read this, it's long. What would you do if you are at a store and the store clerk doesn't speak any English and you don't speak any Korean? How would you communicate? I said I would use translation apps like Google Translate or iTranslate, and they were like, okay, what if you don't have any data? You don't have any internet? I was like, I would use body language and hand gestures. Question 14. 2 of your students are fighting in class. They don't speak English, you don't speak Korean. How would you handle it? I said I would ask my co-teacher to talk to them and calm them down and find out why they are fighting and find a solution. And they said, okay, but what if you don't have a co-teacher? And I was like, I would, obviously, guys, it's so easy to answer these questions when you haven't been here before. You're like, I would do this, I would do that. But once you're in the situation, you realize, if 2 people can't communicate, it can get really difficult. So, obviously, they don't speak English, you don't speak Korean, so there's no way of communicating. If you ask them what's wrong, they try and explain and you have no idea what they're saying. I said that I would separate the students. That's one of the answers, or that's one of the things I would do. I would separate the students, put them in different chairs. I would call my mentor teacher to handle the situation and help me out. Maybe that was my answer. Number 15. You have an hour-long commute from your apartment to your school. You get there and find that all the classes for the day are cancelled. How do you feel, or how would you feel about this? Guys, you have no idea how many times this happens. It's something that I've been through a few times. I it takes me about 40 to 50 minutes to get to school. And sometimes I get there and the classes are cancelled. Nobody told me nothing. I get there and they're like, oh, K2 class cancelled. No class. And I'm like, oh, thanks for telling me. I mean, it's annoying. At first, I used to get really annoyed and kind of pissed. But now I'm okay with it. I know it happens. So when they tell me that, I'm like, okay, cool. I go back to my class and I lesson plan for future classes. So how would you feel? I would be disappointed, but I would understand. And what do you do? So the question continues. What do you do after? You go to your class and prepare for future classes. You lesson plan. That's what I do. And I think that's the expected answer. If you don't have class, lesson plan for the future. Prepare for future classes. Number 16. So now I'm reading because these are like really long questions. Number 16. You are finishing up for the day and will be meeting your friends for drinks. Your Korean co-teacher comes up and asks you if you're going to the work party. This is the first time you've heard of it. What do you do? This was my answer. It was along these lines. I said that I would reschedule drinks with my friends because it's something we could do anytime, and then I would attend the party. Because I mean, how many times do you have a school party? How many times do you get a chance to interact with your colleagues and get to know them? So I would do the school party and reschedule drinks with my friends. That was my answer. I don't know about you, but that's me. Next, number 17. The school asks you to work 2 hours extra a week, but cannot pay you as they do not have the funding in their budget. How would you feel about that, and what would you do? 2 hours is not bad. They're not asking you to work an extra 5 hours a day. And they're also saying 2 hours a week. They're not saying 2 hours every day. So for me, I mean, it's really about going the extra mile for your school. It's about maturity. It's about work ethics. So I wouldn't mind. I probably wouldn't be very happy about it, but I wouldn't mind. That's just me. Next question, number 18. A co-teacher is not guaranteed, so you might be teaching alone. How would you feel about that? I told my interviewer that in South Africa, it's not very common to have a co-teacher in the first place. So having a co-teacher for me is a bonus. So not having one would be a norm or would be expected. But let me tell you something. Before I came to Korea, I was like, do I really need a co-teacher? I feel like it was just an extra person in class who was going to be judging my teaching and stuff like that. Like, I didn't know what to expect until I got here and I started teaching, and I appreciate having a co-teacher so much. The first month or so, I didn't have a co-teacher, so I was teaching alone. It was so difficult. The students didn't know what I was saying. I didn't know what they were saying. I would say something and they wouldn't understand. So I generally don't think they were learning a lot at that period until I got a co-teacher who was able to translate, who is able to, also handle classroom management. So it's really, really nice to have a co-teacher. It's very helpful. And if you don't have a co-teacher, which sometimes it does happen, I'm sorry. Sorry. Number 19. Your teaching schedule is very scattered. Some days you might not be teaching at all, and other days you will be teaching 6 classes. How do you feel about this? I'm going to give an example about a friend I have. I have a friend, she works 4 days a week. Monday, she has a full day, busy. I think from 9, I don't know until what time she's at work, she's teaching, she's busy. On Tuesdays, she has a free day, but she's expected to go to work at, I think, 8:30 until 4:30 or something. And throughout the day, she just lesson plans, desk warms. They want her to prepare for other classes. On Wednesdays, she has another busy day. Thursdays, she has a day off, and then she has another work day on Friday. So what my answer would be is, on the days that I'm free, the days that I don't have classes but I'm expected to come to school, I would use those days. I will lesson plan and make sure I prepare for those days that I don't have time to sit down and lesson plan. Many Korean apartments are very old and traditional and lack many features that modern housing have. You might be living in a place that builds up a lot of mold in the summer when it's humid. How do you feel about this? Yo, guys, I don't remember what my answer is. I can't think of an answer right now. I don't know how I feel about a moldy apartment. So, think about it. Think about how you would answer that question and how you feel about living in a place with mold. Number 21. How would you deal with homesickness? Homesickness is a real thing. It happens. How I deal with homesickness is I would listen to music from home. I would watch movies and series and stories and soap, whatever from home. I would call people from home to talk to them. It really does make me feel better. Or I will make food from home. It's a little comforting, just a little bit. And again, homesickness is temporary, guys. It will go away until it comes back again. 22. There might be people staring or touching you. How would you feel about that? As a black girl, I have dealt with this a lot. I don't know if other races go through the same thing, but for me personally, especially in the rural Korea, people would stay, especially at the beginning when I first started and I would get off the bus, the area where my school is. Everywhere people were like staring, and when I first came here I had braids. My braids were a hit. Everyone wanted to touch. Sometimes they were pulling them because they wanted to see if they're gonna come out or whatever the stitch is. But personally for me, the way I answered this is I understand curiosity, and I understand that some people have never seen a black person in their life before, and when they see you they're just curious. The truth is they don't mean any harm, and the hair thing is a real thing. They always just want to touch and feel like the texture and things like that. So it's okay, it's not harmful. Now a little bit of advice. The interview takes about 40 to 50 minutes, so be prepared. Make sure you have enough data for this Skype call. Be well dressed. My interview, I was able to see my interviewer and he was able to see me, so I made sure that I look very formal. The top part, I look very nice, well and formal. And what they want is you to look formal. Don't show up to the interview wearing a nightgown. Wow, guys. Put in some effort. And they want to see that obviously you speak English, good English. They want to see that you are mature and that you can live abroad alone, that you will commit to this program. Want to know if you can handle money. Like they don't want to pay you and have you run out of money in the middle of the month and you cannot go to work because you don't have money to go to school or whatever the situation may be. And guys, whatever you write on your essay as you apply, make sure it's the truth, or at least you remember it, because they also want to reference your answers from your essay. If in your essay you said you have teaching experience and then they ask you in your interview, do you have any teaching experience? You're like, no, you forgot that you lied. That's not gonna be good for you. So make sure that everything corresponds. You are professional. Be open-minded. And if you are having your interview soon, good luck. If you come into Korea soon, please let me know in the comment section, or go into my DMs on my Instagram at ㅅTeach and tell me when you're coming, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is where we'll leave it today. It's all love from me to you.